This Ag Vision program is made possible through the generous support of Syngenta Seeds NK brand. The results you need, the freedom to choose. And by Farms.com. Ag news, market prices, ag careers, and farm real estate. You'll find it all at Farms.com.
Well, since more value has been added beyond the farm gate, it should come as no surprise to anyone that the farm share of the total food expenditure is decreasing. The percentage of value contributed by farmers has decreased and will likely continue to decrease in the future. These are some of the words of David Sparling. He is the Executive Director of the Institute of Agri-Food Policy and Innovation and joins us once again. Welcome.
Thank you, Kevin. Pleasure to be here.
I'd like to, if I could, break this into two parts, this discussion. First of all, to talk about a number of the factors in the supply chain, primarily consolidation, that have affected farmers' incomes, and then switch over to some business models, some practical things that farmers can look at as they embrace new business models moving forward. First of all, looking at the trends then, on the consumer side. So we've seen a lot of consumers are becoming more demanding of diverse products, considering how farmers are producing it. That's becoming important. Fusion cooking as they blend different tastes and so on. Give me an idea of the type of farmer that can benefit from this kind of, do I have to be big? Do I have to be smart? Do I have to be small? What do I have to be?
You have to be connected, really, is what you have to be. Because what you have to understand is what are those trends that are happening and how do they affect your farm and how can you link to those? So if one of the trends is locally grown food and high-end consumers who really want to get organics delivered to their door, then you have to be part of the system that can actually connect to that. And it doesn't mean you have to do everything yourself. It just means you need to be part of some kind of a network that actually can do that. And that may be linking to a distributor, or it may be driving it in yourself with a sort of co-op of a bunch of farmers who say, we're going to sell to these people, but we're going to give them a system that allows them to order really easily, which may mean internet, it may mean a telephone system. So it's a different model than what we've been used to in the past.
Now, consolidation is playing a big part throughout the food chain. If I go on the retail side, you've primarily got Loblaws, Sobeys, Walmart. First of all, do you expect to see that consolidation continue? And second of all, if so, will that continue the downward price pressure on farmers?
Yes and yes. It's a tough competitive world out there, and size does matter at pretty much every level of the supply chain, and retail are working very hard at getting bigger but also getting leaner, and so there's lots of price pressure. There's also pressure to adopt new systems like traceability, radio frequency identification, so that they can drive costs out of their supply chain.
So on the processor side, same question. We've seen the same consolidation. Do we expect continued downward price pressure on farmers?
For commodity type products, I believe that's the case.
Okay.
There are a lot of really interesting products out there. I was at the Grocery Innovations Conference a couple of weeks ago, and they were talking about healthy food. When you walked around, you sort of saw three trends. Healthy foods, you saw foods that were from different cultures, and also organic. Those things just slammed you in the face. You couldn't miss those as being really key across a variety of processors. And so what we need to think about is how can we be part of those? But we are going to be, there's going to be price pressure, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned a moment ago about organic being big. I guess maybe the fastest growing in the retail sector right now. It's very interesting. Another buzzword in that whole area is local.
Yes.
How do you size up the word local in terms of an opportunity for farmers moving forward?
I think local is a really good opportunity for farmers. It's an opportunity to brand your product and differentiate it from similar products that come from other locations. And consumers do, especially higher-end consumers, do tend to support local production. They view it as environmentally good because it doesn't have to be trucked around the world. They view it as supporting their neighbors, and they view it as healthy. So I think it's a real opportunity. It's one we haven't captured and capitalized enough on, and I think it's something we really want to look at in the future.
Very positive. Okay, the consolidation factor as we move toward producers, and this has been going on for decades, and obviously has a certain negative component. For the producers who are left, do we expect more consolidation, and what will that mean for the ones that are left?
Yeah, you can expect more consolidation from the people supplying you and from the people you sell to and within the producer segment.
Really?
We're seeing larger farms are growing rapidly, and the number of small farms is shrinking. Now sometimes that's shrinking because a bunch of them are becoming bigger because they want to achieve more commercial scale.
Right. Now to the $64,000 question.
Okay.
Because farmers ask,
which is a good income.
It would be actually
for a lot of farmers.
This is the question that farmers always ask, and it comes up all the time, and I get your perspective on it. And that this whole concentration and the market power that it results in, is it a significant factor in farmers' incomes right now?
Yes. It's a significant factor for a couple of reasons. One, there is the whole aspect of market power, and when you look at the numbers, I have looked at the numbers, you see that supply management helps producers retain some of that power, and so there is some saving there. But in non-supply managed, the market power is quite obvious. But the other thing you see too is where products are sold closer to their raw form, producers capture more of the value. As you look at products that become processed and blended with other things and distributed in different areas, then other people are adding more of the value, and so the producer share continues to drop in those kinds of things.
Right. Okay, let's switch over now and let's look at some hard possibilities. I'll pretend I'm a farmer in Lucky Lake, Saskatchewan. And yes, I've heard that I should be value adding, or I should get closer to the consumer. But the reality is, I've got 6,000 acres. I am capitalized to have a farm that does a certain thing, and that is produce a commodity. So I have a 5-10-year plan that says this is what we're going to do. We're going to stay in this business, and we may make small adjustments, but we're not going to do a lobotomy. So tell me, if that's my business plan, what should I expect over the next few years? What are the business models, business things I need to consider?
Okay, a couple of things. One, commodities are going to be a huge part of the future for us, because whether you're talking food or bioproducts, we need a lot of volume and predominantly commodities. So as a commodity producer, what matters? What matters is predominantly cost, but not exclusively. And so I think one of the things, if you look ahead, what you want to do is try and create a product that's different from soybeans in other parts of the world. So if you're producing, let's say you're out there and you're producing canola and it's going to be used in a biodiesel, how can you modify that canola for Saskatchewan conditions to produce more of whatever oils work best in that biodiesel? If you're a soybean producer in Ontario, how can you create lines of soybeans that actually put in more of the characteristics that car companies or that auto parts manufacturers are looking for? And so the right kind of research and development to sort of tailor those to the local conditions, I think, is really important, to tailor to individual markets. I think that's an opportunity for governments to invest. That's an opportunity for marketing boards to invest. If you're a producer, you want to be adopting those as quickly as you can. You want to be connected to the supply chains that go there. You also want to be as efficient as possible, so new technologies that can help you reduce your costs or that help you increase your yields, you want to be picking those up as quickly as you can.
Okay, now I have decided the opposite. I have a small farm. I have the ability to produce a valuable product, whatever it may be, so I'm going to stay niche. Okay, and I'm going to stay small. What advice do you have for me? Okay,
you're in a tricky situation because what is niche one day may not be niche for long. So you always have to be flexible, and you have to really understand your market. So what you want to do is you want to connect. Let's say you're trying to sell into downtown Calgary vegetables or downtown Vancouver. What you want to do is you want to make a connection to the people who will buy and pay a premium for those products because they're locally grown and under whatever conditions that those people are looking for. You want to be able to supply them on probably a year-round basis, or as much. What you have to understand what their needs are. So you really, if they're looking for a product and they're happy to get it 4 months of the year, then you create a network, because you probably can't supply everything yourself, to collect product and to distribute to them. If they're looking for a year-round production, then you create some partnerships with people in other parts of the world, or you find sources of supply. There are farms who aren't very large who make very high margins, up to sort of 40%, the very top end, not all by any stretch. And so it is possible to make a good return there. Now the interesting thing is, if you're really good at that, you're probably going to grow.
Oh, really?
And so,
okay.
Because it just, if you're operating and you're supplying a market and people like what you're doing, they're going to ask for more, and more people are going to want it, and then you may need to bring in other farmers, but you may find yourself managing a distribution business instead of that. And that's a good thing.
Yeah,
I think that's an opportunity. You want to look for those.
The question is a very popular question. I know it's hard to answer, but so moving forward, should I specialize or diversify?
It depends where you are, but to me, I think you want to achieve a certain scale. If you're under $250,000, I think your goal should be to get up into that area. If you want to do this commercially full-time, I think that's important. Then if you're going to want to stay at sort of not too large above that, then I think you want to identify a market that is a little more specialized. If you want to continue to grow, there's a good chance in some cases you may be delivering vegetables into downtown Toronto, and you may be able to find niches that are really attractive, but actually you can sell millions of dollars worth of product.
Okay. We've got time, I've got 30 seconds maybe to do one more. I think I have a competitive advantage that I may be able to brand a product. What should I be considering?
Branding a product, you should be talking to somebody who can help you analyze whether your brand is going to be attractive, and how you should package that. I think that you want to really understand what your competitors are doing, and who is going to compete against that brand, and what advantages do they have, and then you say, okay, why am I different, and why would somebody want to pay for that difference?
Okay. David, I appreciate it, shedding some light on what has been an uncertain but in many ways exciting future for agriculture. I appreciate your time.
I appreciate it.